Greetings and salutations.
Hi.
Changed up the scenery for y'all on the one time for this one. Wanted to talk about, what was it? Oh yeah, why we decided to move to Chicago.
You.
Okay.
We moved here because of him.
Dang, where do we start? So we were living in Milwaukee after I graduated college, we were living there for 4 years. So I graduated in 2014. So we lived there till 2018.
I lived there my whole life.
Well, when I say we, I meant, once we got married and
Oh.
became one flesh. Anyway. So we was there for 4 years. So I was working in social work and education for that whole 4 years. Well, I guess we both decided that for us to both work in that field, because she was also in similar type of field, that it seems like those fields aren't valued very highly in terms of
Salary.
what they're able to be paid, I guess I'll say.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And wrongfully.
We decided that we couldn't both work in that field and then be as monetarily successful as we really wanted to be. So I had to get up out of there. I had to get up out of there. I had to get going. I had to get going.
It's so much more than that, though. Like,
That's why I was saying, where do we start?
living in Milwaukee my whole life.
I got snacks too.
Florida was my vacation spot growing up. Every, year, we would go to Florida. And so, since I was, 10 years old, maybe younger, my parents were telling me, we're going to move to Florida one day. So I thought I was going to be in Florida by the time I got to, middle school, high school, college. So, I kind of always had this mentality that I was going to live somewhere warm. I think I was created to live somewhere warm. I think.
Maybe.
I don't know, I just feel like in my mind I live somewhere warm. That's what I want. I want my kids to grow up in a place that's warm. You just put your head this way to block that light, because that light's weird. There you go. And so when we started dating, he actually told me, he's like, I don't want to stay in the Midwest forever. I would like to move somewhere warmer. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I want to live somewhere warm too. So we had decided when we got married that we weren't going to stay in Milwaukee forever. It's still cold here. And it's close, and we wanted to move somewhere far. We wanted to kind of get away, do our own thing, live somewhere warm, buy a house somewhere we can raise our kids warm. I'm happier when I'm warm. My skin is happier in the warm. I have eczema, and when I'm in
Eczema?
Yeah, when I'm in cold weather, it gets bad and it itches and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I'll say this: when I was younger, when I made this decision, I pretty much had Houston set in my mind as somewhere I potentially go. Mostly it was just because of the size of the city. I didn't want to go to LA because that's somewhere that everybody goes, so I didn't want to go there. Same thing with Miami, really. So I wanted to find somewhere else that was warm. So Houston is, I'm pretty sure at this point, it's still the 4th largest city.
Scoot over a little bit, and you put your butt this way so you can
I gotta be comfortable too. I think it's still the 4th largest city in the country. So I wanted to be in a city similar size to Chicago, just because I thought there'd be a good amount of opportunities there. So that's how Houston came to be. Now, like she mentioned, she had family in Orlando, so that was on the list, and we had visited Orlando, so I approved of it.
Twice.
So, or anywhere in Florida, really. It didn't have to be Orlando.
Me and you went to Orlando twice.
Yeah.
Together.
Mm-hmm. So that was on the list. The stereotype is that there are a lot of old people there. So Florida's cool, but maybe there's something better out there that's warm. So I started just doing research. So then I got on North Carolina. Was basically I had gone through a couple places. I think Austin, Texas was a big one that's kind of popping right now that people are moving to. Also, it's Texas, so of course it's warm. We had visited New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah. So, and that was on the list too. Once we went there, that was on our list.
New Orleans was bomb.
Yeah. And then I think a strong consideration for a while was Atlanta. But I kind of felt the same way. A lot of people go there, so I didn't necessarily want to go there. Mm-hmm. So that made it into our top 5, as well as somewhere in Texas. So that's 2. Then we had North Carolina, 3. And then we have Florida, And did I put Atlanta on there yet? I had to pretty much figure it out from that point on. We're not completely sure yet where it's gonna be that we end up moving to. So we still have a list. It's just smaller now. So, and I'm still like, I'm always looking at other places, but the favorites are North Carolina. We like the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. We're also open to Charlotte, of course, because Charlotte's the bigger city.
We went on a road trip to North Carolina because
Well,
North Carolina was like at the top of our list. We were like, let's move to North Carolina. It's different. It's nice. It's got all 4 seasons, but it doesn't get super cold. And then we were like, let's just go see it and see how we feel. So we went in the wintertime. We went for a week and we loved it. Like when we came back from North Carolina, I was like, that's where we're moving. Like we're moving there, settled, decided, he was on board.
thanks for the clarification.
But then it was getting closer and closer to when we were gonna move, and I was like, it's so far for me to just move from Milwaukee to North Carolina. And it's about a 13-hour drive. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what if something happens? What if there's an emergency with my family? And I was just in my head. And then I was like, oh my God, we need jobs. I was just starting to kind of feel overwhelmed. We were kind of expressing our concerns to our friends. And one of our friends was like, why don't you just move here? We were in Chicago. We were visiting Chicago to see our friends. And she was like, why don't you just move here? Shout out to Elena.
Now, when she says we had concerns, just know that I had 0 concerns.
I don't know why you didn't have concerns, because we didn't have jobs.
And then you'll get jobs. You got a job here, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right.
So she was like, why don't you move here? And it was so funny. Like, I remember the moment when she said it. We were all just silent. I had a light bulb moment, and I think Brandon had a light bulb moment, because then, like, within a few seconds after that, we were like, So then we had a conversation about it, like, what if we just move to Chicago? It'll give me a feeling of being away from my family, being away from home, being away from what I know, leaving my job, leaving everything that I know, because I know I want to take a step. I need like a baby step. And so then he's from here. He's Chicago native, for those of you that don't know. So he has his parents here, and we already have friends here. So I have friends here. He has family and friends here. So it felt like a smarter, easier move for me.
Yeah, I also was trying to, when I was ready to move, I wanted to move somewhere that wasn't so expensive. I know Chicago is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, that and crime. And so those are the main reasons I didn't want to come back here. And plus, like, I mean, I grew up, like, in the city and in the suburbs, so, like, I know Chicago already. I wanted to...
But you got on board, though. Why did you choose to get on board?
I wanted to branch out and see new things. So I just got on board because I know how she is, and she really wanted to be with her family. So I'm like, okay, well, we can. And I'll say this too about Milwaukee. I feel like it's probably the case with all medium-sized cities. I feel like they're a great place to get started with your career, but when you're ready to take that next step, I feel like a lot of times they don't really necessarily have what you're looking for. That's kind of like what I experienced. I have a couple more friends that are like that too. So once you get started, once you're comfortable, once you're ready to branch off, then it's pretty much time to leave, is how I saw it. So I never planned on staying in Milwaukee my whole life. But it's a city that, you know, I wouldn't mind going back to visit, preferably not during the, I'd say, November through April months. But any other month, yeah, I'd love to go back.
Summer in Milwaukee is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to do in the summertime. So there's that. I figured we could just live with my parents for a little while, because I know she was talking about, oh, well, we don't have jobs. So I'm like, okay, well, we could just live at home for a minute, get jobs, and then head out. So that was because I really wanted to, I was like extremely ready to move.
Yeah, we live with his parents right now.
That'll probably end up being a separate video.
So when we moved to Chicago, we decided to move with his parents. I guess my main thing is that I needed to have my own bathroom, our own bathroom. So we have our own bathroom, we have our own room. There's not anyone else that lives there, it's just the 4 of us. I was nervous because I moved out of my parents' house when I was 19, and I never went back, besides like literally like a couple months one time.
I moved out when I was 18.
Yeah, but you went home, you went back home.
For holidays, yeah.
And like the summers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I only did that freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. Like, I found work on campus that I didn't have to do that. So, you know, not living with parents for the past, like, more than 10 years, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna feel? It's not bad. Like, obviously there's pros and cons.
Yeah, and this is like part of our culture too. Like in America, I feel like it's not completely ideal to be living with your parents,
Right.
as opposed to somewhere like, I'm pretty sure in like Spain, for example, they live with their parents there for a longer time.
A lot of other
So-
countries, people live at home
I feel like it's almost like a Latin thing.
much later.
Almost. I don't know if that, like, which Asian cultures are like that, but
It's like that in the Middle East too. I didn't understand it when people did it. How do you live with your parents and you're married? How is that comfortable? So I was kind of anti doing that, right? But one of my friends did it, and she did it for the purposes of saving money for a house. Her and her husband have this beautiful house, and she's pregnant. She's on her second baby, and she lived with her parents for like 2 years to save money. If your parents are gonna offer you that blessing, why would you not take advantage of that? Because you're prideful? Because you don't want to say you live with your parents? And I was like, good point. So when this idea came up to live with his parents, I was like, why not? So then I was comfortable with it. Then one of my amazing friends, shout out to Vicky, was like, Lily, didn't you move out really young? And I was like, yeah. She's like, so a lot of people are able to like benefit from living with their parents for like a long time because they stay at home for a long time. Even through college, they get help. They go home for like summer, they like, you know, get help. She's like, you didn't have that. And I'm like, that's true. It's not really been your situation. Like, you've been supporting yourself pretty much since you were 18. I'm like, that's true. So it's kind of like this, like, you know, if someone's gonna give you that chance to like help out a little bit, like, why not take it? So yeah, I don't think we should judge people who decide to do that. I think it's really smart. No,
I don't think we should judge at all.
we shouldn't. But I've heard people be like, oh my god, I would never do that. I could never live with parents. That's, why not? Why? Oh, we lived with my dad for a month. We should talk about that. You should talk about that.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. It was back in August. I think it was that whole month of August, was it?
Our lease was up, and I didn't want to leave my job yet. That was the issue, right? Yeah. So I wanted to stay at my job until September 1st, and our lease was up August 1st or July 31st. So we lived with my dad for the month of August, and I really liked it. It was like 3 weeks because the last week in August we were in Hawaii. Like, I really liked spending time with my dad. My dad gets along really well with Brandon, and I love my dad's wife. She's amazing.
But also, I feel like we weren't
Shout
there
out to Jackie.
very much.
Love you. We were gone a lot. We had plans a lot, but it was nice. Then we moved in with his parents. Obviously, when you're living with other people, the big issue is always going to be privacy in general. Is I guess something that is not a concern, but like it comes up. You know, help me out here.
Well, I'll say this. For me, the issue is my parents. They argue a lot. My mom is always calling me for something. So for me, that's why I didn't really want to go back home. So I knew that was going to be something that I'd have to get used to, being back in the house. And I was right, because she still calls my name all the time.
She does.
Still always asks me to do this and do that, or you know, a lot of times she don't even ask, she'll just tell me to do stuff. And then I think it's hard for her to realize that I have my own life, so I can't just drop everything whenever you call me, because I have things going on that you don't even know about. Things that you don't need to know about.
Yeah, especially because he's very private into himself. I know what's going on with him, but his mom will have no idea. Like, he's had several job interviews. No, like, how's your interview? And she'll be like, you had an interview? Like, he just doesn't really share everything with her. But I just want to say that I think I have the best mother-in-law in the world. She's present, she's helpful, she'll do anything for her kids. And I love her. So that was part of the reason why I was like, I can move in with your parents because I get along so well with your mom. If I didn't get along with his mom, like, that was not gonna work.
Yeah.
But isn't your mom great?
Yeah, she cool. She was a great mom. I'll say definitely that. She real supportive, things like that. Always trying to give us whatever we wanted, whatever we needed. So can't really ask for much else than that.
Yeah. I just love, I think we like, in general, we like spending time with her. Like, we'll just chill with her. Back to the
together.
privacy thing. It's just, you know, it's different when you are living with other people. I have to be constantly conscious about what I have on, and it's a blessing to live there, but it's just different. Yeah, and I'm also like conscious about like noise, like if his parents are sleeping or whatever, like I'm like, oh, we have to be quiet. I feel like I'm more conscious about not leaving a mess around like the common areas. If living with your parents is an option and it's something that you think, I mean, do it. I think it's really smart. I don't know how long we'll be there. We've been there now.
Probably not. We'll probably be there
September,
until the
October,
summer.
November, December, January. So we've been there 5 months, and it's kind of gone by fast. It doesn't feel like it's been 5 months.
Yeah. So the earliest we'll leave will be in the spring, and the latest we won't know. It'll probably be the summer. I think I'm gonna want to get out by the summertime.
Really?
Yeah, personal reasons.
Okay. I was trying to stay as long as we could, just to save, but I'm gonna ride with whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Like a definite pro would be they cook every night. They cooking something, so we end up being the beneficiaries of the leftovers. Now we got a constant influx of fresh food being prepared. So
That's a huge plus. Like his mom is a really good cook. She's like, cooking is like important to her. Like I think it's a really big part of her life. Like she plans what she's gonna eat. I would say 90% of the time I don't have to think about what we're gonna eat because she has planned it out, and she's very mindful of like the way that we eat too, which is so nice. We have certain things that we eat and we don't eat, and she will cater to that, which is so nice. Food is bomb. This is not our long-term goal. We are here as a transition to kind of, you know, like I said, give me a feel, build a little bit, build our finances, get rid of some debt. Yeah, and Chicago's a great city to grow in terms of business. Like I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I love it here. Like I didn't think I would. What are those eyes?
I'm looking at you talk.
Oh.
What is it? Are they bad?
No, they seemed like a little like bedroom eyes or something. I didn't think I was gonna love it so much here, but it's beautiful. Like literally, I still feel like a tourist. I mean, yes.
probably different.
He's so cute. I can't. I like to go for walks at work because I work in the city downtown. So I'll like walk down the block and be like, oh my god, this is just so pretty. It's just very, everything's like beautiful here. And like the holidays here were so cool. They're Hi. Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Wiener Schnitzel. Tenderized pork, basically. I never knew that. I always thought it was like a hot dog.
And some spiced hot wine. We are at the Christkindl Market in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are.
That is so delicious.
Oh, and it has mustard and onions on it too. Yeah.
It was just, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't think you wouldn't, because it's like, it's similar to Milwaukee in the sense that same weather. Well, yeah, pretty similar weather.
Okay,
And
so
then-
people, as in people, would tell me that it was warmer here than in Milwaukee, and I was like, that's such crap. It is, though. Like, it's literally always about 5 to 7 degrees warmer here.
It's
That's
relative.
a difference.
It's relative, but like when it gets like super cold, then you can really feel the difference. I always felt like you could actually feel the difference. I feel like
You can.
people from Milwaukee probably wouldn't, or Wisconsin probably wouldn't feel the difference.
I'm here now, and I feel
But
the difference.
whenever the Illinoisans go up there, we can feel the difference.
I thought that when they said Chicago was the windy city, that meant it was windy, as in like it's cold, the wind hits you. That's not what it means, people. What does it mean?
It's for politics. Politicians blowing hot air. But it is windy here, but it's not the windiest place in the...
But that's not why they call it the Windy City.
Right, yeah, it's not the windiest place in the country. That's actually either in Kansas or like Nebraska. I looked it up in like high school at some point. So yeah, we're here now, and we're living life. That's it then, right?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, I feel like we're at a good point to sign out. So you guys still need to see some likes, comments, sharing, and subscribing. But
For real.
also...
Ain't nobody be commenting on our stuff.
But also, so like in these comments though, you can tell us like what you want us to talk about next. But and then I want to know where you guys are from because I know not all of our followers, I don't think, are from Illinois and Wisconsin. So just subscribers, I should say. So let us know. So we're vlogging.
Wanna come say hi?
Hi.
All right, so we out of here.
Bye.